What's happening, Andy here? I'm joined today by Paul Banco of ETHERFAX and Mark Hart of ACDI. How are you guys? What's happening?
Doing fantastic.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and absolutely doing fantastic as well.
Yeah, good morning. Happy hump day, middle of the week here. We're having a little catch up. You guys had a co-announcement last week that we wanted to talk about and discuss. Nothing, it's 2024. I feel like we've got a big fax announcement. I feel like it could be 20, 30 years ago, but here we are in 2024 with a really significant announcement that I think is going to be really interesting to a lot of dealers out there. Why don't we start with you, Mark? Give us a little background. Just tell us what you do for ACDI. Tell us what ACDI does for maybe anyone who's watching who's not familiar.
No, absolutely. So here, since I'm sporting your hat, Andy, I'll
You are
switch over
sporting
to
the
my
hat. Thank you for
yeah,
wearing the
I'll go to
hat.
my ACDI hat next. We'll keep this going, a little NASCAR theme maybe today or whatever to support our brands. Now, ACDI, we're a solutions and services organization that supports channel partners all throughout the Americas. We have great products such as PaperCut. They're our premier partner, and what we do for those guys, we support and service their product throughout the Americas, and over the years helped them become the number one print management product on the market today. So that's why we're here, kind of talking with Paul and yourself about fax integration, and it's exciting times in faxing, Andy. Let's not try to reel it back to where your heyday in the marketplace 30 years ago, right? This is new and exciting stuff that we're here to chat about, and we're very happy and very lucky to be partnering with EtherFax.
Well, side story, fax was fax was still big, like really big. Hardware was really big when I was just starting out, and we were selling Xerox agent uh, copiers. We were selling in the basement of this building. The fax team was upstairs in the beautiful showroom. Jim DeMidio was our DSM. I wasn't allowed to sell fax because you had to work your way up to fax at that point. It was such a huge
Wow.
part of the market. So that's actually my mug up there from ADS, Automated Digital Systems. A little shout out to all you guys. And so back to fax. Paul Banco, you guys are a big sponsor of our newsletter as well, of our news feed. Tell us a little bit about what you do for EtherFax and what is EtherFax?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, my role is I'm the CEO and co-founder over here. So, I kind of lead the vision as well as with the other co-founders, and the company direction and where we're going. And yeah, here we are, the year 2024, and we're still talking about fax, right? If you told me, in 2024 I'd be running a fax company, I would have looked at you like you had two heads. But truth be told, I mean, it's tried, it's proven, 75, 78%. I don't know what percentage you want to put out of it. It's well over the 70s of healthcare information is still sent via fax. But the company is really transitioning towards workflow automation within the healthcare industry. So, it's great. PaperCut, ACDI, who have been great partners, in this endeavor. Well-established brand, and EtherFax has its hooks into everything, and it just absolutely made sense. I mean, there was so much synergies between the companies, between the products, between the team itself. So we're super excited, for this integration, for this partnership.
Well, it's pretty interesting, and we'll go back to Mark here. I'm not going to be outdone here. I'm going to switch my hats.
I got no hats. I got nothing. I
Hey,
got
let's
more
go Latin
shoulders.
America there. Let's give them a little love. Okay, go ahead.
I don't even remember what I was going to ask you. So we know ACDI these days as a paper cut, a major paper cut reseller, right? You're almost synonymous with that, and you've kind of used that relationship over the years to springboard you as a major supporter of dealers, and you've built it out, right? So it's not just paper cut; it's other products now as well. You've even moved into EV charging stations and some other areas. So, a forward-thinking company. Celebrating 30 years, by the way. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Josh Lane. Congratulations to you. I hope if you watch this, and to all the ACDI people, that's quite an achievement. Maybe hopefully you'll get to 50 years like we're celebrating this year right now. And just amazing that these companies can last that long. I don't, how old are you guys, Paul?
2008 is when we formed.
Oh,
So,
15 years,
but
you're a baby.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, you got to keep in mind that the co-founders of the companies are all industry veterans, so they've been in this longer than they care to admit.
Yeah.
But yeah, EtherFax is 2008.
Well, it's funny that your company is the fax company is the youngest one in the picture here. But
Yeah.
back to ACDI, one of the things I think has been interesting over the years that we've been doing this newsletter, 11 years now, is watching you guys add new partners as you've grown, and just adding the levels of support to the dealers. It started with paper cut, really. It started with
Yeah.
accessible devices for charging, vendor, right? Like that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
coin op, really. And you've
Ex-
evolved it
Still
into a
do today.
paper cut, a dominant print management reseller, and then you've added all these other components. So you had a hole, right? Fax was just always there, and now that all the hardware has really gone away, these software companies like EtherFax have become critical because you've got certain verticals. What was it about, EtherFax that made you guys want to partner up and tell us the story?
Yeah, Andy, it's a fantastic question, right? I mean, as you said, what we try to do is continue. We do have the world's best print management product, but to make it better, right? We continue to work with companies like EtherFax to allow the dealers to go off and expand what they're doing beyond just print. We look at fax, and yeah, we could say, hey, fax has gone away because Jim DeMedio is not in our channel anymore, and what he's doing because he is synonymous with fax. And I'm glad you mentioned his name because he's definitely the father of dual fax lines here.
You trained
But
me.
oh, right. So when we looked at it and said, hey, why is faxing starting to come back up? Right. And it was because of companies like EtherFax. When we started looking into this, we're like, oh, wow, look at what they're doing. They're taking and converting, traditional faxing and analog lines into server-based faxing, right? Being able to switch everything over into a digital world. And that's what we're trying to do with ACDI, right? With the print and everything we're doing with paper cut, we're snapping on product scan share with it, with EtherFax. When we looked at the companies and said, who do we want to work with? There's a few that's out there that we that are probably been around for a long time. And, I'm not going to say any names, right? But have good brand recognition. But Paul said it when we looked at their company and we got to know the people. We got to know Paul, we got to know Jennifer, the whole team. And it really, we looked at them as like a mirror of ourselves, and they care about who they are and working with their dealers. The dealers absolutely love them, right? They know them by name. They know their products. And what I love the most was they're bringing new billing models, new revenue models to the channel that are beyond what we see of, just here's $50 a month for a fax line or $200 a month for a fax line, right? And so it's finding new ways to capture the pages we're losing. We were at the CDA services meeting in Savannah last month, maybe 2 months ago now. But anyway, one of the questions came up is, what are we continuing to do? How are we going to look at capturing the pages that are lost? And the services guys brought up faxing. Right? They brought up capture workflow. Paul mentioned that, right? Faxing is part of a workflow. And so when we said, hey, let's find a new way to bill pages. Let's bill based on the number of pages going out through faxing, and utilize paper cut as that onboarding to get it out there, to really pair them together. It was a no-brainer for us. And when we started looking at it and said, hey, what's the name that keeps coming up? It's EtherFax. And so we reached out to Paul and the team, and they were excited to work with us. Our development team worked with their development team. The ACDI development team worked with the EtherFax development team with their APIs and created a connector. And now we're excited to get it out in the field.
So it's another nice arrow in the quiver for ACDI dealers, right? And it's when is this gonna be ready? Like, when are you guys together and up and going?
So it's launched now. We're kind of getting it out there right now. We kind of soft launched it to a few dealers. We will be together next week at the BTA event in the West. So Jennifer Greco, she'll be joining us. There you go. She'll be joining us at our booth. So if you see this and you're going to be at the BTA, please stop by, say hi to us. If not, give us a call. We've already worked together with some dealers and showcasing what we can do, how it works with the product, how the single sign-on, all the good technical entities are working together, what the pricing model looks like, and we're excited about this.
I'm excited to see. I haven't been to an event in a little bit, so it'll be good to get back out there, and a big night for Bob Goldberg, and It's just going to be a really nice event, and hopefully, hopefully we'll get some more people coming out to that. I want to take a step back because, and I just got to ask, Paul, why are we still talking about facts? What is it that makes it so resilient? That makes it just, I mean, it's not, everything on my computer is embedded with scan technology. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to buy anything, but yet you guys are not just existing, you're thriving, right? You're getting signed by a major distributor in this channel. What is it about Fax that just makes it still such a solid product for resellers?
It's simplicity. I mean, I mean, it is just so easy. It's secure. I mean, it's ubiquitous. It works across different technologies, right? Like why can't an Epic transfer to a Cerner, right? You probably could. You could do Fire, you could do CCDA, but now you got to retrain the entire organization. And let's face it, especially in healthcare, they hate change, right? You train the staff for 3 months, and now they're looking for something less stressful and better, right? Like it's such an easy piece of technology, whether you're walking up to an MMFP and you're putting in a piece of paper and you're hitting the 10 digits and you press the pretty little green button and it goes, it's that's really what it comes down to. It's simplicity and it's security and it's accepted. It's a global acceptance. So that's why fax is still here. I mean, when email came out, everybody's like, all right, well, fax is dead. I call it the cockroach of technology. Like it has survived anything and everything as far as a technological advancement, but it is changing. And if I'm going to sit here as one of the leaders of this company and say that fax is not a sunsetting technology, I would be blinded, right? You have to at some point, it has to go away, right? So where do we put ourselves? How do we position ourselves? And that's really where EtherFax is going towards. And I just want to make mention of the ACDI paper cut integration. Maybe you could ask the same question to us, is why, right? I'll be honest with you, and Jennifer could probably answer this better, but I feel like, 7 or 8, 7 out of 10 deals or 8 out of 10 deals, we were always asked, do you have a paper cut integration? So I mean, their saturation in the market, their footprint is massive. So that's why, from our perspective, it's like I said, it makes perfect sense and there's just great synergies and it's a dual partnership. A lot of partnerships. I love getting these emails. Oh, let's partner. I'm sure it could be beneficial. And it's always a one-way street. Like it's beneficial to you. It's not beneficial to us. This is one of those partnerships where it's bi-directional. It's going to benefit not only EtherFax and ACDI, but it's going to, benefit all of the partners and dealers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you look at it and you think, right? You're looking at the future. You've mentioned a few things there. You've got a lot of workflow and automation stuff that you're working on, and it'll be exciting to watch that. But even just right now, there's been a lot of activity in the fax world. Like we've had a few manufacturers get out completely of hardware. We had, is it the FCC or FTC? It's the FCC, right?
FCC.
That last year had some they got rid of the analog lines finally, the requirement to support them. So another dagger in the heart, right, of hardware, because now you don't have these. And by the way, even while they were still supporting those, anyone who's got those lines, like that's the simplest sale of all, right? You go in there because that line is costing $50-$100 a month, right? And that goes away with your software. I mean, that's always been the pitch originally, and now it's just you don't need antiquated hardware. You don't want something you have to physically support. Mark, let's go back to you and talk about what is the opportunity out here, and how are you guys going to position this for dealers as a new partner? What are you guys going to do to really build this out and help EtherFax sell more?
Yeah. So Andy, Paul mentioned it earlier. It's about the vertical plays, right? Verticals continue to be an important part of how we're marketing and what we're doing. We've been known as the education player. Let's go back to our paper cut hat here for a while. For many years, it's paper cut is the brand name. I mean, it is the. I'll go back to our friends at Xerox. It's the Xerox name. Everybody knows what that is. Let's make a Xerox copy. So paper cut's synonymous in education, but we wanted to expand. And when we looked at healthcare, we were like, okay, faxing's huge. And if we want to get in here, we have to start working with Epics of the world, Discerners, whatever, Meditechs. But then faxing was right there. Just like Paul said about, hey, when he was working on deals and PaperCut was mentioned, when we were getting into healthcare, it's like fax server. What am I doing here? EtherFax. And so we want to continue to show our dealers, how they can go out and sell, how they can hunt for these opportunities, asking questions, probing questions. So we're doing videos, we're doing some webinars together, some co-marketing brochures just to help out all the dealers that are out there. We'll be promoting through the BTA, the CDA channels, BPCA, all these guys, as we normally do, right? I mean, it's without our dealers and without our partners, we won't be successful. And so we think that this is a new opportunity for them to go capture pages they're losing, go get a solution, go charge for fax pages, because it's saving the customer analog lines and whatever they're being charged for the analog lines, but it's giving that dealer that monthly recurring revenue to bill for more pages, right? Let's bill for scan pages. Let's bill for print management. Let's bill for workflow using other products. Let's show them how they can take this software bundle. They can start capturing all of these extra pages and offset what they were doing with print. Print's not going away. It's changing. It's adapting. But the software and the solutions that go along with print and print management is really where the future is going to be.
How many dealers are you guys working with on a general basis, just a ballpark? How many partners?
ACDI?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that we have just over 3,000 dealers across the Americas platform, but we have on average, I would say between, around 1,200 unique dealers that buy from us every year. We have the slogan, we meet you where they are. So some dealers might place a single PaperCut order with an EtherFax. Some others, our friends at POA and All Copy and Atlantic, and the list goes on and on and on. They're out there sending in orders every week, every day. Once you start seeing the value, and once the reps start seeing the value of what software can do, and it's not extending a sales cycle anymore, it's getting them in the door where they might not have an opportunity with hardware. I mean, Andy, we're seeing some hardware deals be extended, right? People are sweating the hardware now. 5 years, 6 years, 7 year, 8 year deals on a lease. How do you get additional revenue? If somebody's got a hardware, if one of your competitors have the hardware locked down for 8 years, what are you going to do? Go start selling solutions on top of it, right? Find your way in the door to get that customer. Don't walk away and come back 8 years later. Right. So we're trying to show them new opportunities to drive revenue, software specific revenue for customers that they don't have hardware.
Well, and healthware is just such a great spot to do it, right? Because those guys are still screaming for fax, as Paul said. And back to you, Paul. Let's talk about some of the things you guys have had to do to stay not just relevant, but just to get your certifications and to be such a player in that area. I know you guys you're just wrapping up a really fun audit. Sounded amazing when you were talking to me about it the other day. Why don't you just tell us just a little bit of background? You don't have to get too into it, but just tell us some of the stuff you guys have to do to stay secure and protected, and make sure that the people selling your software are not going to get bit by just something that's wrong with your product.
Yeah. Hands down, excuse me, I apologize. Third-party attestations of compliance are so important. I was looking at one of our competitors' website today, and they state how they follow certain, cybersecurity frameworks and things like this and things like that. And they'll cherry pick 13 out of the, 485 policies that you have to adhere to this. So we were very, we took a gamble, and the gamble has paid off tenfold in terms of getting high trust certified, PCI level 1 certified. It really made us a better company. Every company thinks they're secure, right? Until they're not. And we have a group of very, very talented engineers, very talented CISO on staff, and you go through these third-party audits and you're like, oh my God, like we didn't even think about this. So it's costly. And 8 out of 10 times, especially within healthcare, you'll get the right security guy on the phone, and he'll say, great, you're high trust certified. We don't have to worry about it. We're not going to hand you our Excel sheet that and request for information or do what's called the SIG, security information gathering. So it has made us a better company overall, but it comes at a significant cost. If you roll back 6, 7 years ago where you could be more flexible in your T's and C's and things of that sort, well, now you can't. This recent audit that we are going through, actually, we just did a build out, was our FedRAMP High certification, which you think any audit, you look at high trust, which is great, and you look at PCI, which is great, then you get this audit and you're like, oh my God, you're like, where do we even start? I mean, we literally had to rebuild 30 core applications, 220,000 lines of code, utilizing Fargate and Terraform for our FedRAMP services in AWS. I mean, my team was working 24/7 around the clock. And when you tell people, you look at an organization like ETHERFAX, I mean, we're small, we're 30, 35 people. To achieve a FedRAMP High certification in the short amount of time,
Impressive.
it's unreal. So we're super excited about that. It allows us to get into the Fed side of things, the government and the state. Every state kind of has like state ramp. Well, FedRAMP kind of supersedes that, which is really nice. And so there's so many opportunities for us within the Fed space, and there's a lot of faxing going on in that part of the world, if you will.
Well, it sounds like, Mark, you guys have picked an excellent partner. Somebody who's been vetted and somebody who's, by the way, started popping up at in our world over the last couple of years. I saw him at CDA last year. You mentioned Jennifer's going to be at BTA with you now. So the investment you guys are making in our channel has been noticed, right? And so there's room for fax, and somehow it's just this technology, like we said, it's still, as long as customers keep asking for it. You guys are going to keep bringing it to our channel, and you're going to make it. Mark, you're going to bring it to the dealers, right? So congratulations Absolutely. To you guys both, Paul, for signing on with a great vendor, and also for getting through that audit. I'm sure it was absolutely painful. And Mark, I think you got a great partner here. I know some big dealers are using it already. I look forward to maybe some announcement as you guys sign some others going down the road. Any last shout outs to anybody before we wrap up? Mark, you want to start?
Mark.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. No, Andy, thanks for doing this, and thanks for being the voice of the channel. You always do a fantastic job of bringing us together and allowing us to, say a few words and talk about this, because it is about the communication, and it is about, what we can do to continue to lift, the high tides would lift all boats, or whatever Josh likes to say. I probably butchered that, but we're always
rising tides raise all ships.
Yeah, Paul, thank you for doing that. Yeah, correcting me, and Josh will laugh at that. But no, it is. We're just trying to find ways to continue helping our dealers be successful out there, right? And these guys have been around, Walt, since the 1890s, and let's see who's going to be here in 2090. And where we're going, because the industry's not dead. It continues to thrive. We continue to adapt and pivot on what we can do. Fax is just one of those areas where there's still a lot of opportunity. We think that leading with PaperCut and EtherFax is a fantastic solution that will work across every single OEM in our channel today. So if you have it in your portfolio, if it's a vendor you have in your portfolio and you're working with PaperCut and ACDI and EtherFax, then you have support.
Excellent. How about you, Paul?
Yeah, a couple of things in closing. Once again, I echo my statements and thanking you for being the voice of the channel. We talked about solution selling, and another thing that I'm super excited about is two things. EtherFax is going through a massive rebrand right now, hoping to launch within the next month or two. And we're also coming out with an unbelievable product called Flow. By the end of the year, it should be fully launched, and that's going to be just another solution that ACDI and the channel can sell. Going back to Mark's point, what could we sell? 7, 8 year leases. What can we get into the customer and upsell? So this is going to be one of those solutions, and super excited and really looking forward to that and working with the ACDI team. on
Well,
that.
certainly when you guys get closer, let's do another one of these chats, and we'll find out a little bit more about Flow and what it's going to bring to the table, and how they can access that dealers can access that product through ACDI. But congratulations on the new relationship, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, Andy.
Cheers.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, buddy.